the Industry 4.0 suite.
Right, like advanced robotics, data analytics, connected systems,
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
exactly. These are the enablers of competitive domestic production. You need that tech edge now.
Did that sound like a regular news update? Well, here's the surprise. That entire video clip was generated by AI using a tool we are going to explore today, Google's NotebookLM. Hey everyone, Maxims here, and in this video we're diving into the incredible power of NotebookLM, focusing on its mind-blowing ability to generate podcasts from your documents. Get ready to discover how you can transform your text-based content into engaging audio with just a few clicks. As you just heard, NotebookLM has the potential to revolutionize how we create and consume audio content. Its core strength lies in its ability to analyze your documents and generate natural-sounding podcast audio. Here's how NotebookLM makes creating podcasts incredibly easy. Effortless audio creation. Simply upload your research papers, articles, scripts, or any text-based context, and NotebookLM can help you turn it into a compelling podcast episode. Repurpose your content. Give your existing content a new life by transforming it into audio format, reaching a wider audience who might prefer listening on the go. Ideal for sharing research. Researchers can now easily share their findings with the public by converting their papers into accessible podcast episodes. And what I really like about it, NotebookLM takes and talks about it not like a scientific researcher, but just a regular normal person so that you can understand. But the magic of NotebookLM doesn't stop at podcast generation. It's a versatile AI tool with a range of other powerful features. Quick summaries. Need the fast overview of a long document? NotebookLM can generate concise summaries in seconds. Instant Q&A. Drop a website and generate fact section in seconds. Create a timeline of events based on the provided documents and more. Alright, so in order to access notebook.lm, you should go notebooklm.google, and that's the product by Google, so you can understand. Here you can find different ideas what you can do with this, but we're gonna just try it and see what it can help us with. So here I have actually two accounts. I have a private account and I have a corporate account that will have a plus subscription. Well, to be honest, there is no much difference between NotebookLM regular and the plus. If we ask Perplexity, what is the difference between NotebookLM free and plus tier? Here we can see that on the plus tier, you can actually get more sources, you can get more notebooks, you can get more queries, you can get more audio generations. But, well, generally, you can pretty much try everything in the free tier. And if you need kind of more of these type of things, you might upgrade. But generally, you should be good to go with the free tier. So we'll actually explore a couple ideas and we'll take a look at the free and paid and what is basically the difference. But whenever we are in the NotebookLM, we just click create a new, and here there is an option to create a new notebook for us. NotebookLM stands for creating notebooks for the documents that you can easily search. Think about like custom GPTs with pre-created like knowledge base or gems or cloud artifacts that have prefab knowledge. This is sort of works similarly, but there is a little difference. It will be able to generate podcasts on it and also use some other features that I will show later. But here a cool thing is that first of all, we can upload different sources. And here, as you can see, they allow different formats as PDF, TXT, Markdown, or even MP3 format of the source file that you're looking to add. So one of the examples would be adding some sort of research paper. And here I have different prompt engineering papers. And let's actually take a look how it's going to handle these papers. So for example, we got a research paper on chain of thought. And if I'm going to show you how it looks, it actually looks like this. That's an older paper on chain of thought. And as you can see, it got 43 pages and a lot of information in it. It has different graphs, it has different findings, results, methodology, and all that stuff. I'm not going to read this. And okay, so we have added a source and now we have a sort of a summary of what the source provides us with. So what we can do next is there are a few things actually pretty cool. First of all, you can generate a podcast, and let's actually go a simple way, first of all, and let's just generate a podcast over this particular topic. So while it's generating, it might take a few minutes to generate. The longer the context window, basically, the more sources you will have, the longer it will take to generate. It can go up to like 15 or 20 minutes if you have a lot of context. And if you don't have that much of a context, that can be much, much faster. So while it's generating the podcast, let's actually see what are the other features that we can use here. So here, by definition, we have 4 different features that we can use instantly. So that's going to be study guide, briefing doc, FAQ, and timeline. Let's actually generate all of them. And I'll quickly explain what each of these actually means. So this one is, let me go with the one that we have in the very beginning. So language model reasoning, chain of thought exploration. So this was a timeline probably. And the timeline basically will show you the historical timeline of different findings that have appeared in the paper. So essentially here, if I have chain of thought paper, they are analyzing different findings from the previous researchers. So it will actually sort of format it in a right order from the oldest data to the recent data, basically of different researchers. That might be quite useful actually. If you're writing a scientific paper, this might actually help to sort of understand what is the historical landscape, when something has appeared, what was the kind of the historical development of the methodology, different, variables, researches, etc., which might be quite useful. Also, you can generate, the timeline of your company development and stuff like this. It's just important that your source document have those dates specified, and then you can basically generate the timeline. Pretty nice. Another one is here, for example, it was probably kind of brief document. So it kind of goes through the key concepts and short answer quiz. So this one actually, not the brief document, this is a study guide. So it says, what are the key concepts that were described in this paper? And it basically took some kind of general ideas like ablation study, variable computer analysis, neurosimilarity methods, which are pretty unique and neat to kind of figure out what are these. And then after that, it creates a short quiz. Actually, very helpful could be for those who are actually teaching stuff, because you can have your knowledge base uploaded here and then ask the model to generate a quiz for that. I'll definitely use this for my trainings. So another one is basically a brief document. A brief document is going to generate in the format like a report or something like this. So it will have executive summary, then the key topics outline, and then it will have a conclusion. It's sort of, a short report that will provide you with all you need to know. And the final thing, what we have is basically Q&A or frequently asked questions. And for this one, I would actually use this one for my website. So I'll just drop a website and ask it to create frequently asked questions page so that I can quickly, based on the content that is on the website, create FAQ and, place it on a website. So we'll do that later. This is also pretty useful. But we have the podcast generated, and let's actually take a listen.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something really, pretty cutting edge in AI, how we're getting these huge language models to actually reason, not just talk, but think step by step.
Yeah, and the key technique we're looking at is called chain of thought prompting.
Exactly. For a while, making models bigger seemed like...
We can actually make them speak a little bit faster if you guys like to listen it to your faster pace, and you can also share the audio, and then you can also download the audio. So let's take a listen if that was speaking faster, if it was speaking faster.
Like the main path forward, better text, better translation.
Sure, standard stuff, but complex reasoning. That was often a stumbling block.
Right.
Chain of thought is really starting to shift that perception. It's kind of a breakthrough.
And for you listening, maybe you want those aha moments about AI without getting bogged down in like super technical paper. How many
I think
total?
You get it. I think you get it. That's pretty cool. So what I like about it is that it actually discusses the paper, but in a very, very easygoing language. It's not a scientific research-backed language, but it's actually easy to understand stuff for like normal people like me. I'm actually not a researcher myself, so all the terminology will be hard. That's why I want to rely on something that is kind of chilly and easy in an easy language, and that's what it provides me with. I really, really like it. And so if you want to download it, you can go here and download or delete the audio. Basically, you will be able to save it in the MP3 format and transform it into text if you want, or just listen on your go. It's just up to you. But you can do that. Another interface here, so you can add another sources if you wish, and we can add other papers here. And after the papers are added, we can actually go and discover stuff. So here you can ask any questions about the papers, or you can also type it in the chat and it will help you out. They also provide some sort of like additional question in the very beginning that you can use, which is also pretty nice. So we have created 4 different documents, and we can add another note. So you can add a note that this is a note and place there some tags that you want, and then basically you go and convert it to source. So essentially you are adding a specific note to a source if you want. So it's pretty easy, fast to add it as a plain text. You don't need to overcomplicate stuff, okay? So we don't need this node here because it's useless. So let's not rename, but remove it. And another cool thing that I like about it, because I have uploaded actually 6 different papers, and we can go and basically delete this one and recreate it again. Another cool feature is here that I can actually customize what I want the researchers to focus on. So I can go with, you need to focus on papers findings, disregard everything else. Okay, so, and then we're going to be generating a summary. Otherwise, if you just hit generate, I will generate in podcast, which is going to be pretty long just because it's going to involve all those papers, and we'll discuss what are the different approaches, what are the different techniques, etc. Here, I can say specifically, you need to focus only on findings, and that way we kind of limit the amount of results we're going to get. It will take less time, and it will be straight to the point. So that's a cool feature that they have added recently that we can use right now. Another cool feature that you can have is using a mind map. So another thing is the mind map, and let me show you how that works. So instead of this one, I'm going to drop the URL of my website. Okay, so it's going to take the information from the website and pre-feed it to the database, which is pretty nice. So I can generate a podcast for this, but I don't need one. But I want to create a mind map of my website, and I can do it pretty easily here. So let's actually take a look. This is my website, AI Solutions for Business, and you can basically see how it actually splits. So I got 5 sections on my website, which is correct. And it splits those sections into smaller sections, like for example, services, where I split it to workflow automation, smart agents, and consulting. And here you can even see where I provided different examples, or here we actually see different features. So smart agents available 24/7, employee interaction, customer interaction, etc. So it sort of describes different features. And this is how you can draw the mind maps of different topics, like in prompt engineering. For example, here you can draw a mind map as well. It will be much more sophisticated, but it has a lot of context in it. But if you want to navigate and sort of understand what relates to what, it's actually pretty neat and nice. So large language model capabilities, reasoning, and then applications and stuff like this. So you can go and actually see how that works. That's pretty cool. Actually, it has generated the podcast focused just on the findings of these 7 papers on prompt engineering. Let's actually take a listen.
It's really something to watch how quickly these large language models are, well, learning. They're becoming so good at writing, answering questions, even coding sometimes. But you have to wonder, are they truly reasoning? Are they understanding things like we do, or is it more like, super advanced pattern matching?
That's definitely the big question, isn't it? A lot of researchers are digging into that right now. The output looks human, sure, but what's actually happening inside?
Yeah.
And recent paper findings are shedding some light. There's this one technique that seems really promising for, well, boosting those reasoning abilities.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Spill the beans. What's this new approach called?
It's called chain of thought prompting. And the basic idea coming out of these papers...
Okay, I think you got the idea. So basically, it's 11 minutes out of 7 sources focusing on just findings. This is quite unique and pretty nice. Another pretty cool use case that you can actually have it generate you a podcast or a summary from the document that you can use based on the video that you submit to. So if we go to YouTube, for example, and basically it will either create a short podcast that you can listen to right here, or you can just ask what this video is about. Okay, you just ask it as simple as that, and you can that way actually chat with the videos instead of you looking. What I like about this NotebookLM stuff is that it actually provides the references. So here it takes the transcript of the video and basically that's the whole transcript. And here it says where it found that. We don't have this in particular place here just because the whole output is just in the middle. But if we go there and ask, explain me what is few shot prompting. Okay, it's gonna provide the output probably based on this research, and it will provide a specific place where it's located. So it opens the work and it says, hey, okay, so this kind of part based on the search feature is a method of interacting with large language model, and it actually references this part. And we can find it here. That's instead Fine-tuning separate large language models, checkpoint for each new task. Owner can simply prompt the model with a few input-output exemplars demonstrating the task. So that's where it has taken it from. And we've got the sources basically for each sentence, which is really, really nice because you can easily go and check whether that's true. You can just click and it says, where did it take it from? Very easily, very nice, and could be easily used. But here is another cool feature that I wanted to show you. And it is when when you're listening to the podcast, you can actually join the talk and ask a specific question. Let's try it out.
Simple, kind of elegant.
It's really something.
Oh, hey, welcome. What's up?
Hey guys, I liked your talk about, those new research papers, but can you please emphasize which of the papers has the most unique and interesting kind of technique that is not kind of common sense that people didn't hear about? And, I might be, or somebody else might be interested to take a look at.
That's a great question.
Yeah, we appreciate you chiming in.
If we're talking about something truly novel and perhaps counterintuitive,
Okay, let's unpack this.
I'd have to say the rethinking the role of demonstration paper stands out.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
The way they messed with the example prompts.
Right, with the deliberately wrong answers.
Exactly. The common sense would tell you that showing wrong answers would tank performance.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
But their findings suggest that the specific input-output pairing in those examples might not be the key thing.
So what does this all mean?
It really makes you reconsider what these large language models are learning from prompts.
It's less about direct instruction in the examples.
And more about, as they put it, showing the expected format and style.
Actually, it's quite interesting because they took like few shot example paper, but I really like how they cut up this thing, and that you can literally like interact within the models while they've been talking and ask any questions in the middle. Isn't that pretty cool? And the last thing, I also wanted to show you kind of the paid version. So if you have the Plus, actually, so the difference if you're on a Plus subscription, first of all, you can generate more than 3 audios, then the source limit is more than 300 sources. And I think you have just more options. You get pretty much the same functionality right here. You can generate, you can customize. You just have like expanded capability of usage of the model. But yeah, here you can use the website, you can use YouTube, you can use plain text to copy in and use it as a source, or you can use Google Drive to access specific documents. Just of usage of NotebookLM with some other tools. For example, Google's deep research. Okay, I'll show you a quick example of my research. So I want to show you another example. So think about I am an investor, or I'm looking or seeking to place my money somewhere as an investment. And I'm going to use Gemini deep research. So if you go to gemini.google.com, you can have, and if you're on a paid version, I guess, you can have this deep research with 2.5 Pro. I've used it previously with 1.5 Pro when it was released, and I have a video on my channel somewhere here, but I think that ChatGPT's version was better at the time they released it. But now there is an updated version of deep research with 2.5 Pro, and I was really shocked how good it is. It's actually probably even better than ChatGPT's version. So let's actually take a look. I give it a very simple prompt, and I'm saying, since Trump tariffs hit the market and markets are down, I want to find new opportunities for investment. Please analyze what is a good investment opportunity right now, given the economic situation. Very broad, very vague prompt. But look at what it does. It asks me additional question, and this just works the same it worked before with deep research. And I say, okay, all the questions in plan is fine. Let's start research. And it actually started the research. It actually took a little bit more time than previously. I think it's about like 20 minutes or so. But when I look at the result, I wanted to show you something. So this is the result it actually provided. And just for the interest, I wanted to save it to my Google Docs document. And here we go. I got a research for 47 pages. I was like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna, how I'm gonna read all this? I need another AI agent right now to summarize basically what's written here, because 47 pages, come on, it's too much time needed to actually read what it provided. Well, but the result is actually really, really good. I really like the way it actually provided the result, because we've got the executive summary and it goes really deep in analyzing, okay, what's the tariff policies, what it was before, what is right now, what's the economic situation, what are the potential overvalued, undervalued stocks and stuff like this. And it just goes deep and deep if you look at it. And if we go back to the sources, actually, 34 pages of text and it's 13 pages of resources or links. This is crazy a lot. Like, I mean, I'm not sure in my bachelor's degree, I had that many resources, actually 157 resources, crazy a lot. And those actually sources that it provides are really, really good ones. It's not like, Reddit threads or it's Facebook posts. Those are outlooks, professional company reports, maybe some blog posts, but those are like really good ones. If you look at the sources who actually wrote that, they're really good ones. There are no global trade review, etc. There are really kind of qualitative research. I really liked it because in fact, it analyzed, I think, over 219 resources, but it included only 157. So not all are included. But then I take this report and I include this report and I provide this report, save it as PDF and send it to this model. And I say, hey, let's generate a podcast, but just focus, please, only on the investment opportunities because the report is very long, 47 pages, and I'm not going to read it, but just focus on this key thing. And it's just 17 minutes. Let's actually take a listen to an abstract.
Economic forecasts and various investment outlooks. A clear theme emerges. These shifts are creating both challenges and, importantly, distinct possibilities for investors.
Exactly. So our focus today is sharp to navigate this evolving situation and really pinpoint the key investment opportunities that are arising from these tariff changes. We want to give you actionable insights into where potential growth lies in this new environment.
Okay, let's unpack this. Where do we see the most compelling opportunities taking shape right now? One of the most significant trends, and it's being accelerated by these new tariffs, is the strategic relocation of manufacturing. Companies are increasingly looking to bring production back to the United States that's reshoring or closer to home in places like Mexico, a trend we call nearshoring.
It makes intuitive sense, doesn't it? I mean, if tariffs hike the cost of imported goods, then producing those goods domestically or, within the North American trade bloc becomes a much more attractive proposition. So what specific investment avenues are opening up because of this shift?
Okay, let's think about the foundational elements required for this manufacturing sort of renaissance. With reshoring, we're talking about building new factories, expanding existing ones. This immediately highlights opportunities within the industrials and machinery sectors. Think about the companies that provide the essential equipment and automation technologies, what's often called the Industry 4.0 suite.
Right, like advanced robotics, data analytics, connected systems, that kind of thing.
Exactly. These are the enablers of competitive domestic production. You need that tech edge now.
And then it goes actually much deeply explaining which are potential stocks you might pick, which are those companies that actually does work in this space that might be actually the winners of this tariff policies right now. This is crazy good, and I really like it because the report 47 pages, but if I need to grasp the whole idea, I'm just gonna drop it here and just put my headphones and I can listen for it. Also, one of the reasons why would I use a podcast sometimes, because I really like how it explains it like to a kindergarten level. Like it's really so simple because I have uploaded one of my videos when I explain how I do this sophisticated automation. And they were like, okay, there is this scraper, there is this LLM, and they literally break these terms and keywords down to a very simple language, explaining to normal people because I live a little bit in a bubble. I'm working in the AI space, and I think, it's given that people understand what I'm talking about, but in fact, it's not. And here, they kind of break it down so easy, and I was listening to my video, them explaining it, and I was like, oh God, I might have actually mentioned it differently. I might have actually changed the script. If I've known that you can explain it that easy, I would probably explain it differently myself. So I really like actually to re-listen to some of the stuff I've been talking about because it provides you kind of a way and a different point how you can talk about, sophisticated things. It's a podcast. It's two people, one asking each other questions and commenting, but I make it so easy to listen and kind of natural to hear that actually I was thinking, okay, I might be explaining a little bit too difficult. So I need to kind of drill down a little bit to the basics. And here is where you can learn that stuff really nice. So yeah, here you have it. You have different options. You can create mind maps, documents. You can chat to different documents. You can upload up to 300 sources, so many of them, and use it to your extent. You can create podcasts on specific topics or general. Yeah, that's a very useful tool. And I think if you, in 2025 have this one in your pocket, you're going to be just much more stronger. And also one more thing, why this one might be better than some other tools, because for example, in ChatGPT, in a similar service like GPT agents, for example, well, I don't know now, but previously you could upload like up to 20 different documents. Here, we're talking about like 300 documents. And I think with 300, you're pretty much reaching the limit of how many documents on a specific topic you might need to actually to talk to your AI assistant to quickly search through them. So yeah, that's just another advantage, that the limits are, exposed a little bit so that you can upload as much as basically you need and then, have a chat with it yourself. Okay? Hopefully that was useful. Thank you for watching. So there you have it, a comprehensive look at Google's incredible NotebookLM. This tool has the potential to significantly boost your productivity and help you make sense of the vast amounts of information we encounter every day. Whether you're a student tackling research papers, or a professional analyzing reports, or a creator looking to understand your source material better, NotebookLM is definitely worth checking out. Have you tried it yourself yet? What are your favorite use cases? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more videos on the latest AI tools and technologies. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.